Hey friends, today I'm joined by Breanne Newton. She is the middle school pastor at Rev Youth in Langley, BC. She is a dear friend, someone I've done school with and we've done ministry with over the years at Rev. Breanne, thank you so much for making some time to join me on this call today. You want to give us a shout?
Hello, I'm so excited. Thanks for asking me. I'm excited to talk about what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, it's just us on the call. Otherwise, I would have said light up the chat to other people on the call, but it's just us today. Other people will be tuning into this shortly. I'm really excited about this conversation we're about to have because I love what Rev is doing in the communities across the Fraser Valley. And my hope and prayer for conversation like today, it inspires youth pastors and youth workers across Canada in exploring different ways of being more missional with their youth ministries in their communities. And Breanne, one thing I want to mention is that Breanne, alongside her entire youth staff and leaders, are living a missional life with their students, doing some really cool initiatives, both locally and globally. So without further ado, let's jump into our first question. Breanne, can you just give us an insight, invite me and our listeners into what you guys are currently doing when it comes to being missional in your community?
Yeah, so we actually currently are doing a few different things on how we are as a community, as a team of staff, volunteers, and with our students. We do a couple of things. So one of the things that we actually do, and it's a heart and a piece of our ministry to the point where we cancel a Tuesday night to do it, like a youth night on Tuesday nights, is something called our Hub Serve Nights. And so hubs are our small groups. And so we have 14 small groups across the board from grade 6 to grade 12. And every single small group, we go out and we serve our community in some capacity on a Tuesday night. And so we try to plan these so we plan in trimesters. And so once a trimester, we are going out into our communities, serving different organizations, serving our church in different ways. We're literally cleaning gravestones at graveyards to just serve our community and to serve Langley the best that we can, and to teach our students and our team that this is our mission. Like, this is the job of the church, and it's the job of our youth ministry to do it together. And so that's one of the areas that we do. But another thing that we do is we have never stopped doing giving projects and offering projects. It's really a heart here at Rev that we give to different organizations and not-for-profits, or we raise money for a certain project. And so I think in the last 5 to 6 months, we've raised almost $3,000 for different organizations, from globally, raising money for children to go to school in Thailand, to raising money for our recovery church here at CLA. And so kids are just being generous, they're giving, and they're just hungry, and they're just eager to serve. And so we're trying to do the best that we can to equip them and do this together as a community.
That's so awesome. And I know there's a high school right next to CLA. And what does that look like, your guys' partnership with them?
Yeah, so we obviously have students who come to Rev from that high school. And so our heart is there, and we love the school right beside us. And so whenever they need something, we also have a local middle school right around the corner that we also are serving. And so, for example, on our Hub Serve Night, one of the things that we have one coming up in literally 2 weeks. One of the things that we're doing is we're going into LSS, the school right beside us, and we're giving and we're helping them renovate one of their rooms on a Tuesday night for 2 hours. And so we have involvement there, and we talk to the teachers and the principals to be a part of whatever we can. And our church has a great partnership with a local middle school around the corner, where we help run their fall festival, where we help run their breakfast program. And so we're in them, and we're trying to be in them as much as we can, and then bring students along the journey with us.
That's so awesome. I just want to take us back to, I think last week we kind of talked about this, and I asked you if you could hop on a call with me. And one thing that stood out to me is the grade 7 boys going to the graveyard and just cleaning. And the families noticed, and they asked you guys to come back. And that just plays a significant role of what the church should be, is helping others, and to teach those boys at such a young age what it looks like. It is just so awesome. It's so cool what you guys are doing. Hey, why is it important to your ministry to help students live on mission?
Yeah, for us, like this journey kind of started like 3 to 4 years ago, where we were like, okay, we preach about living on mission. We talk about living on mission all the time, but we actually aren't doing things.
Right.
We can get on stage quickly and do a sermon series and talk about how we're supposed to be generous, how we're supposed to be the hands and feet of Jesus. But in our ministry, we weren't doing anything. And so for us, and it was like a conviction that our team had on our hearts, like, no, like our students from grade to 6 to 12 need to be out in our communities and doing things. And so we just had this shift, and we were just like, no, it's important. And then we learned over time, and we'll talk about this a little bit, but we learned over time that students were just hungry. And they really had an understanding, like we could preach it and we could talk about it, and we could say in your schools, like live on mission, talk about the gospel to your friends, your unsaved friends. But there was something so much more beautiful about doing it for our community as well together. And we wanted to do it as a community in our 14 different small groups. It was bonding for us, for our teams and for our small group. And it just really created space for us to actually share the love of God in a practical way, without even being like super like Jesus about them. We're like outside of a grocery store raising money for single moms, and people just see that, and then they ask questions like, why is there a group of grade 6 girls sitting outside of the grocery store? And we're like, oh, we're actually from a church. We're actually raising money for single moms in our community. And so it's been so beautiful to watch that. And it just has shown like, it's so important to be on mission with our students. And so.
Wow, that is so cool. I've heard it said that let your mission dictate your decisions. And I really see that in line, because just showing those students, both middle schools and high schoolers, and what that looks like, it really leaves them to living your life, wanting more for people than from people. And I think you guys are doing an amazing example of the way you guys are leading. So it's powerful to see the way you guys are doing things. What are you guys seeing in young people that inspires you to like continue to equip young people like for mission?
Yeah, there's our students, so when we first started this, it felt like a little bit of a fail. Like we announced it and our students are like, what? Like, we're going to go like to a homeless shelter, or we're going to go to a senior's home?
I remember the first one.
Yeah, it was like,
it was awkward, but like
playing, like we told a group of grade 11 boys that they had to go to a senior's home and play board games with elders. And so they were like, what is this? Like, are you kidding me? And then over time, like as we're like, no, like this is it for us. Like we have to, and we're canceling a Tuesday night to do this. Students have really like grabbed onto this idea of being on mission in our communities and serving in different organizations, to the point where it got to like, it wasn't our staff planning it, it was our hubs planning it. Like every single hub, they're like, no, we're going to go to this place, or we want to raise money for this, or we want to do boxes for people who live on the street downtown. Hubs like really choosing, like kids just have owned it. And then obviously the pandemic happened and Hub Serve Night had to look a lot different. We were kind of just doing a little bit of like offering projects on and off. But then as soon as we came back, we had students asking, when is our next Hub Serve Night? When is our next Hub Serve Night? Can we do this? Can we do this? And students are already talking like, I'm so excited for Hub Serve Night in 2 weeks. Like, I can't wait till we can do this together as a small group. And so it's been like, they're ready and they're hungry and they see the value and the heart of God behind serving our community. And so it's been amazing.
Yeah. So Barna released this report on just evangelizing in Canada. And this is what some of the stat had to say, is that 47% of Christian Gen Z had to say this, that letting your actions speak rather than using words to explain your faith is an act of evangelism. And what's so to connect to that is that, this is what I got to say, is that non-Christian teens, they prefer to be approached by Christians who let actions speak louder than words. And I think this is a perfect demonstration of what you guys are doing in Langley and just around surrounding areas you guys are at. This is so cool. And I know you touched base on some of the wins and some of the stuff that has happened within the ministry. So can you just like take us a bit more deeper and just like with your team, the staff, and you're just celebrating stories. Can you share some of those stories that have come out from those serve nights over the past 2 years or so? And we've just seen you guys putting your faith into action.
Yeah. So the biggest wins and the biggest stories are connections that we have built to organizations around us in the area. From Langley all the way to Surrey, we've just have been pretty like persistent on just asking people to let us serve them in some way. Like we literally just call them and say, hey, we're a youth group in Langley. We're looking for a place where we can serve the community. Can we just come and do anything for you? And it's opened up a lot of beautiful partnerships, not just for Rev, like Revolution, our youth group, for our church, to actually be in playing a role in all of these different organizations around us and areas and communities. We're doing like food drives for our city serve, which is here at CLA. And so we've been getting food in cans. And so we can give them to them every Friday, where they have a food drive for people to come in and get food who can't normally go to a grocery store right away and pay, or that kind of stuff. Or so, for example, the graveyard situation, in the summer one time, we were just cleaning gravestones, and they have asked us to come back because families came and they saw that their loved one's grave was clean. And that was a group of grade 7 boys. Or we had a partnership with the local food bank where we came in and we wrapped Christmas presents for them. And so they could be that they didn't have to worry about it at all, and they could focus on their weekly food program and not have to worry about all these Christmas presents they've had to wrap. And then the beautiful thing has been we've been asked to come back because our students are there and they serve and they're kind and they're generous. And so it's been so amazing to watch that happen. Or like our group of grade 7 girls sat outside of Canadian Tire in the dark from 7 to 9 last year. And this group of grade 7 girls raised like, I think almost $1,000 outside of a Canadian Tire for a local organization. Because people are watching and people see it. And so it's been like quite beautiful to really watch that and be in our community like that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just blown away. Obviously just being part of Rev in the past, I know some of the stuff, but I don't really know the last year or two, but like it's just hear some of the wins and just celebrate that. That's just inspiring. It's so cool to hear. Yeah, it just reminds me of another stat from Barna is that evangelism training is like so rare for Canadian teens, with like, I think it's only 16% of Christian like Gen Z who have received it. And if this is an act of evangelism, the 47% that Christian Gen Z had said that letting your actions speak rather than using words to explain your faith is an act of evangelism. Mm-hmm. What does that look like for youth pastors, youth workers to partner to explore new ways of doing evangelism in Canada and beyond?
Yeah. And so as I've processed and I thought about this as a youth pastor, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, like it's easy to be like, go out into your schools and talk about how you're a Christian, invite your friends to youth. And that's like the pull and that's the call, and that's amazing. We should be encouraging our students to invite their friends to youth, to go into their schools and like share about their faith and who they are. But like the statistics say, like actions really do speak louder than words. And so for youth pastors and youth leaders, one thing that I would like almost encourage is like, just equip your students with projects to do, because they'll do it. And then you'll watch, and like we've watched is like, so the first hub serve event, we planned all of it. Yeah. Like your hub is going here this time, meet here, drop off, pick up right at this time. And then we watched over time, over the last 3 years, as students being like, no, we want to do a project here. And then leaders are calling organizations and not-for-profits, or coming up with an idea of like cleaning the park and picking up garbage. And so my encouragement really is like, just start serving. If you're a youth pastor, just look for places around you and really just ask on how you can serve that place. Or think like we used to think like, oh, we have to be in senior homes. We have to be in not-for-profits, but it was easy as cleaning gravestones. It was easy as picking up garbage around our community. It was easy as knocking on doors and asking people for canned goods. Yeah. Like it's so easy, and you can start start small and then it can grow. And if you're a volunteer youth worker and you're like, well, I'm not the youth pastor, I can't call the shots. Plan something with your small group off of a youth night and do something together and serve. It is like we literally have a relationship with Dollarama now because we've called them and said, hey, can we just set up a table and sell hot chocolate outside of your store to raise money?
Shout out to Dollarama. It's sponsored.
Dollarama, like every year they're like waiting for our call so we can set up a table.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be, for us, it speaks like we want to like really put our actions behind our words, like serve. And so we're going to cancel a Tuesday night of regular youth. We're not going to run a service. We're going to go out and serve. And it doesn't have to be like that off the top, but it's like, find a way that you can serve and not in the church all the time. Like, great, have your students as greeters. That's amazing. But be outside, be missional, like be in places where there's non-Christians and where they can see a group of students serving their community. I'm like so reminded, and this was like a heart behind the project and behind why we still run it and we're pushing it post the pandemic, is like in Isaiah 1, it talks about like learning to do good, seeking justice, correcting the oppression, bringing justice to the fatherless, and really pleading and caring for widows. And so for me, it's like, that's outside of the church. And we need to be outside of the church, living on mission and teaching our students that this is so important. So they can bring it on into the rest of their life.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks for sharing, Breanne. Hey, I think this is going to be our last question for today. What is the engagement and buy-in like for leaders and students when it comes to something like this? Yeah.
And so it's changed over time. So like I said at the top, we had to really convince them. But now it's just like, it's a routine for us.
Wow.
Not just like we just do it kind of routine. It's like a heart. It's like a value, a belief. It's like a core thing that we do in our ministry. And so without apologizing, we do it. Like, sorry, if it's inconvenient to drop off your student who's in grade 6 or in grade 11 at 2 different locations, like we're going to help you and we're going to work that out to a parent, because it speaks like we're putting our actions behind our words and we're doing it as a community. And because it's just a value for us. And it's like a part of our DNA here at Revolution, that we do this, that we serve our communities and that we're on mission together in this way.
Yeah. And I know you guys got 5 values. Yeah. And one of them is fun is your spirit.
Yes.
And I think the last one is like mission is our calling. And I think those 2 things go perfectly hand in hand. Yeah. Because it's like inviting students in with their leaders and this partnership. It's just like, hey, we get to serve our communities together. Right. At the same time, we're doing missions. So it's such a beautiful picture. It's so fun. Yeah, exactly.
Like we're outside of a store, like having a dance party, holding up signs, selling hot chocolate.
Yeah.
And it's just so much fun. We love it. And like students love it. And they've even invite their friends to it. And so it's just been like, amazing.
So cool. Hey, I know that culture doesn't happen by default, but it happens by design. And I think this is really the heartbeat of Rev's ministry. And it touches all those 5 values. What you guys carry is not just the values you guys came up with and you just put a stamp on the wall or just have on your website or on Instagram, but you guys actually live it out. And it's not just the staff, it's the leaders too. And from the leaders, it translates to the students. So it's really cool to see that, Breanne. And I just want to say thank you for joining us. And this is really awesome. Hey, if you are a youth leader or a youth pastor that's watching, email us and share what God has been doing in your youth ministry. We'd love to hear back from you guys. It would mean so much to our team to hear some inspiring stories of what you guys are doing across Canada. So today, this concludes our conversation. And to stay in touch with Alpha Youth Canada, follow us on Instagram at Alpha Youth Canada. Breanne, thank you so much again for joining us, and have a good rest of your day. Take care.